Welcome to Destination Wedding Planning Made Easy, where your team at Destination Weddings Expert talks about all things weddings. Join us as we talk about tips, tricks, and those all too easy pitfalls to avoid when planning your big day. Hello, and welcome back to Destination Wedding Planning Made Easy. I am your host, Mario Lopez, and you are joined by the team here at Destination Weddings Expert. Say hello to Prissy Powell, Nikki Sanders, and Jody Com. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. All right. We are so excited to be back this week, and this one is going to be kind of an interesting topic. Because we deal with it all the time, because we travel a lot, because we have seen all the experiences, we want to give you some of our best tips for when the weather does not cooperate. Because you're in Mexico and the Caribbean, and weather doesn't always want to be on your side, you know? So we figured we would just kind of talk through some of it and give you some of our pointers. So let's start off, first of all, ladies, with rain warnings at the resort and what that looks like. Now, when you are planning your destination wedding, obviously you're thinking of this beautiful outdoor tropical setting that's your, either toes in sand or on a rooftop or, whatever it is. But the challenge with that is you are in the Caribbean. And so it is likely, and especially more likely in certain months, that you may have rain on your wedding day. And so you want to make sure that you understand what the rain warning means. Now, what'll happen at almost every property is the day of your wedding, especially if you're having an evening wedding, your wedding coordinator is going to come to you that morning and they're going to show you the weather report and they're going to say, hey, this is what today's weather conditions are going to look like. It may be super windy, it may be rainy, it may be, whatnot. This is what it's going to be. They're going to make a recommendation for you on that morning and say, hey, by noon today, you need to let us know if you want your ceremony and reception indoors or outdoors. It's our recommendation for that. Follow their damn advice.
Mhm.
Follow their advice. If they are telling you move your wedding indoors, move your wedding indoors. It's for a couple reasons, right? First and foremost, and most importantly, it's for safety. Safety for your guests, safety for the staff. It's those resorts are not, there's not like the little track pads down everywhere you're walking. Sometimes you're walking on stone, and when stone gets wet, it gets very, very slick. When cement gets wet, it gets very, very slick. You don't want Auntie so and so falling, breaking a hip. Going for a slide. Like it's just not worth it. That
Mhm.
um it's I guess the other important thing is it's a liability thing as well. What they're doing when you sign off on that is saying we have told you that the weather you're going to have inclement weather, and now we have DJs coming in, we have decor companies coming in, we have the entire staff that needs to set everything up. At that point, if you sign off that you say you want your wedding outdoors, even if it's going to rain, you are now liable in case something happens to some of that equipment, in case something happens to
Flowers.
the
Mhm.
flowers. Like it's you paid, $8,000, $10,000 for floral arrangements everywhere, and it gets destroyed by the rain. That's not the property's fault. That's your
Mhm. Or
it,
even if the DJ can't finish, right? If it starts raining, he's packing up. You're
yeah,
not getting a refund for that missed time because you signed off, okay, we're gonna do it. So
yep.
you're throwing money away.
That DJ is working with tens of thousands of dollars of
Mhm.
equipment. He's not going to finish his set if he doesn't think that, his equipment's going to be safe during that time. So it's when they make the recommendation, I know it's gut wrenching when you have this, vision of what your wedding is going to be. But sometimes it's just time to, pack it up and say, let's do it indoors, make the most of the celebration. It is what it is. By the way, for those of you that have not caught it yet, make sure you check out our bonus episode to this episode with Abby and Davon. They are one of Prissy's couples who actually we had the pleasure of being at their wedding in DR. We got to pop into their welcome event, and it just so happened that as we popped into their welcome event, some inclement weather hit that was not in the forecast. We had no idea it was
Oh,
coming.
the rain.
Right. And they had such an amazing outlook on it and just a really great way of approaching it. And that conversation was so much fun. Make sure you check it out. Okay, so now let's talk about this. I guess one other thing we didn't talk about is the wind, right?
Ooh.
That so not only do you have the rain and storms and whatnot that could be coming in, but especially if you're on a rooftop or if you're on a terrace where there's a big wide open
Mhm.
space, you also have to be a little conscious of, big gusts of wind that are going to be coming through. If it is a super breezy day, the resort may come to you with the same thing and say, "Hey, listen, we've got these arches, we've got all these things that are going to be out here that that are going to blow over."
It destroys the flowers.
Yep.
If you have live candles, forget about it. Your your hair, your girl's hair, your mom's hair could happen. We've had that happen before.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, it gets, you just,
It gets very tough.
yeah,
Yeah.
you want your vision to be as close to what you planned on it to be. But when you force these things outside, that's going to put you further away. It's going to make it look a mess, and you just don't
But,
want
but with that, if you know you want that terrace, you know you want that look. Be practical and maybe you choose if you can have your budget, put a tent
that. Yep.
or choose the big cylinders with the automatic candles in there.
Sturdy
Maybe
structures.
select some hairstyles and some flowers and things that can hold up a little bit better in
Yep.
the breeze than the ultra delicate stuff because
Mhm.
that no.
Yeah, that makes a really good point, Nikki. Actually, that's when you're speaking to the hair and makeup team, they will also make recommendations on, hey, it's super breezy today. We need to put this up. We need to, that
It's
add
humid.
this.
We need
Yeah.
to add that layer of airbrushing.
Hmm. Was it Prissy? Was it Abby that was telling us that her makeup, like
Yes,
it
it
was raining
stayed
on them
after
and
the
the rain
rain.
stayed?
Yes.
That
That's
is some good
you,
hair and makeup.
you trust your experts.
Yeah.
They're experts of putting on a perfect foundation in the
Yes.
Dominican Republic in a very humid month. She
Yes.
looked flawless.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's Nikki. Tell us a little bit about our group that had rain on their reception.
So we did this is years ago. And we had this cute, adorable group, and they didn't really. I didn't think they had a strong rain warning for that day, but it did towards the end of the reception. After everyone ate, it rained on them. They had everybody jump in the pool. I don't know that that was permitted or allowed, but you know
It
what? It was
happened.
really cute at the end. They were already all wet. Your hair was done. The evening was done. It was a much cuter picture than some of those late night ones that you get in the people on the dance floor.
Yep.
This,
Yep.
but yes. So, the weather cannot always cooperate, and it could be the highlight of your experience as well. Depends on how you look at it. You know, keep optimistic, keep hopeful, have some sense of humor about it.
Have fun with it. Keep it safe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We did the same thing at my wedding. Our reception was connected to the pool. And
Okay.
Yes.
so there were a lot of people that ended up in the pool by the end of our reception.
And there's along the pool as well.
Yeah.
So it just seemed to make sense. I
Why
guess.
not?
I feel like
Why not?
you're asking for it as a resort if you set up the reception next to the pool. Like that's
It happens a lot. Oh, it's better than some of the things that happens in the pools.
Yeah.
true. Oh, remind me, I have a story for that, a non episode story for that. I'll share that later. All right, so let's move on to sargassum, right? So when we're talking about just nature doesn't want to cooperate, things like that, sargassum is something that's really important to decide if it's going to be an issue for you and your group or not, right? It's if you are planning on that perfect white sand wedding and crystal blue waters, and you go to a place that is susceptible to a lot of sargassum, you may have some problems on your hands, right?
Mhm.
I was just at Ava in Cancun. Um, I love Ava. It's for those of you that follow along on the Instagram page. I'm at Ava all the time. Events or awards or it's the new kid on the block. A lot of people are going there. But I was there actually for my neighbor's 50th last week, and I have never seen sargassum so bad in my life. It
Mhm.
was Ava does everything they can. They clean the beach every morning. They have a net out in front of, I mean, Ava's a mile long property and they have a net out in front of almost the entire thing to try and slow the sargassum down, to try and keep it from coming in. But when I tell you I got punched in the face by that sargassum smell when I walked onto that property, and they're all oceanfront suites. So when you're in
Mm.
there, my room smelled like it, my balcony smelled like it. I'm pretty sure I smelled like it on the front deck.
Oh, they did. It did.
Yeah.
So we're Mario and I are in South Florida for those who don't know, and I live close to the beach. We get down to the beach at least twice a week,
Mhm.
and it has been bad. And like I'm a native Floridian, you try to look at the purpose of sargassum. It's a macroalgae. It's a nursery when it's out at sea for little turtles and seahorses and crabbies and all those things we love to see when we're on the beach. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, when it and it still does have a purpose when it dries up as well. It helps build up the beach, but it does stink. It
Yeah.
smells bad.
Mhm.
We
It
don't
does
like
not
it.
look good.
Some people will not even go onto the sand if it's there not smelling because how it looks and how it feels when it comes by you in the water.
Mhm.
If you are someone who does not want to be around seaweed on its best day ever, tell this right up front because we're going to send you where there's no seaweed because you don't want it on its worst day ever.
It's a really important conversation to have with your expert, especially like right in your beginning consultation. We're never going to put you a place that we know like sargassum is just going to dump all the time. And, we're never going to do that. But we are going to try and fit you to whatever your needs and wants are for your wedding. And sometimes that means putting you in a place where it might be a little more susceptible to sargassum than others. Jody, can you talk to us about maybe some of the locations that we know are good for sargassum, some of the locations that we don't necessarily need to worry as much about sargassum showing up on your wedding day?
Isla Mujeres. I never say it right.
That was adorable.
I'm like, what?
Well, we don't have it in West Virginia either, so that explains my pronunciation of that. But yes,
Yeah, so Isla Mujeres is a really good one because that one, it's Isla Mujeres is an island just off the coast of Cancun. And in between there's the jet stream. Is that the right term for it? That's
Gulf Stream. No, not
the
is
Gulf
it Gulf
Stream.
Stream? Yeah.
Yeah. It's the water actually moves really fast through there, which is why at Impressions, Isla Mujeres, their beach is netted off. It's so that you actually stay in front of Impressions Isla Mujeres, because without that, you would float right down. It moves really fast. The boats actually have to fight against it when they're out there. But because of that, you don't have sargassum that comes in. And not to mention that that hotel specifically faces the mainland, which
It's all going to Ava.
yeah, exactly. Any sargassum that's coming in is
Sorry,
hitting
Ava.
the other side of the island or going straight over to Ava. And so it is something that there's going to be locations like that that do help out. Jody, what are some of the other ones on our list of places that we can avoid the sargassum a little bit?
Costa Mujeres.
Costa-
Jody, we're gonna work on this.
That is the
We're gonna do Spanish with Christy for Jody.
I love it. Costa Mujeres. So, for those of you that don't know, Costa Mujeres is a gated community in the Cancun area. And Costa Mujeres also, just because of the way that it's facing, doesn't get a lot of sargassum. It's somewhere that you can avoid some of that as well. One of the ones where you're not going to get any sargassum is Puerto Vallarta, and people don't think about that, right? So with the shape of Mexico, that little heel coming down where Cabo is, Puerto Vallarta is on the inside of that. And so it's on the mainland side, right? You're not going to get any sargassum in that area just because it's all going to come and it's going to hit the Cabo side, and you don't need to worry about it over there.
No sargassum on your sunset picture.
La Romana. We were just in La Romana.
Yep.
So Casa de Campo, Dreams and Secrets La Romana, Dreams Dominicus. It's those properties that are all over there. They're not going to get a lot of sargassum at all. Again, just based on where they are on the island, it's going to avoid that area. I've seen little bits of it there, but nothing that was, detrimental to pictures or,
Nothing that is odorous.
I wasn't smelling it. That's
Nothing that you needed a forklift to move.
It is, it is like a special mix of seaweed and manure. It's
The odor.
the
No,
easiest way I can describe that smell.
it's
Uh,
it's actually hydrogen sulfide and ammonia when it breaks down. And
look at
so
you.
Okay.
people that are asthmatic and things like that, it can be dangerous for certain people
Yeah.
if it gets really bad because it does break down into a chemical compound.
Well, I will tell you, it was dangerous for me. It lasted.
Because you were gonna
It smells so
I was gonna say some bad words.
bad. Cabo is also a really good one. Cabo, just the water over on the Cabo side is more rough. Almost everywhere on the Cabo side, you can't swim. They won't even let you into the water
Mhm.
for very good reason. Do not swim over in Cabo. But because of that, it also fends off a lot of the sargassum, or you can't even get close enough to the beach where it makes a difference anyways.
Yeah.
So that one's a really good one. And then Miches in DR. Miches is again where it's located on the island. It's great over there.
This
So
is our new favorite.
it's
It's gorgeous.
I am telling you that we had actually a client introduce us to Secrets and Dreams Playa Esmeralda. Usually we bring the properties to the clients. They came to us and said, "Hey, this is where we want to have our wedding." And then we went and we toured it because we go so we always want to make sure we know what we're looking at, know what we're selling, know who we're working with. And that this beach is something straight out of a magazine. It is crystal blue water and the palm trees that are leaning out over the white sand beach. And it's
The,
what's
it
that?
was expansive to
Yeah.
compare to some of the beaches that we're used to.
Yeah, it had the Dominican, like the mountains that are diving into the
Yeah.
water, and it looked like Costa Rica. I mean, it was just stunning. So, talk
And
to
no
us.
seaweed.
Yeah, talk to us about Miches because I'll talk about it all day long. Anyways, so again, if sargassum is an important one for you, if that's something that you want to make sure that you keep an eye on, make sure you bring it up in your consult. Make sure you talk to your expert about it. We want to, we're always going to place you where we think your group is going to do best. And if a crystal blue water and those pristine beaches are number one on your list, we're going to make sure we kind of point you towards one of those areas that we know we're going to be able to keep that beach safe from the sargassum showing up. Uh, One of our favorite topics. Let's talk about hurricanes.
Dun, 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 dun.
So hurricanes are a travel expert's nightmare. Mostly just because there's very little we can do about it, right? But we can plan for it and we can make sure that we know some of the facts around it and try and avoid it where possible. So hurricane season, for the most part, is going to run from June to November, with your highest risk dates being in like August, September, October. Nikki, you gave us an interesting fact before.
Yep. September 10th is the highest date of all for hurricanes to make landfall. September 10th.
That's crazy.
One of my son's birthdays is September 10th. So we know this. The other one's September 8th. So there's been
Lots of storms.
he had a go bag packed up for the first hurricane warning he was in. Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. That's
Especially on a birthday.
Yeah.
But as a fact, most hurricanes do not happen in Mexico and the Caribbean. Most of them do happen to us here in Florida, Carolinas, Texas, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they affect most people. Now, that affects your flights, though.
Getting out.
Yeah.
I think one of the, I come from the Midwest. I was born in Wisconsin. We're used to tornadoes where there's no warning. You get like 2-3 minutes to get in your basement because it's ripping through and it's happening, right? But the beautiful thing about a hurricane is that you get like a week or two notice.
It's a buildup.
Yeah, we know it's coming. We can see the path. We can predict the path. and then we can make some plans from there. And so that's like Nikki said, it's really chances are it's going to affect your flights more than it's going to affect your stay on property. Every once in a while, we get tragedies like Jamaica that just happened, where it does take a head-on hit, and these islands, they're not made to sustain some of those larger hurricanes. The one that hit Jamaica was a big one,
Yeah.
just sat there. And
Yes.
that's unfortunately every once in a while something like that will happen. But for the most part, we're looking at flight annoyances. We're looking at, maybe some damage on property or
Rain.
Rain.
You will have bands of rain and wind if a hurricane does come by.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
this is true, but
I think that's three of us here. So unfortunately, Jody wasn't part of the team yet. But we, the three of us here, had gone to our retreat every year. We do a retreat where we throw a fake destination wedding, and we teach other travel agents how to do destination weddings efficiently. And while we were there, unfortunately, I swear, I don't mean to pick on Ava this week. I swear, it's I
We love Ava.
love Ava. But we were at Ava again, and
it was still brand new. It was
Mhm.
still brand new.
brand new. I mean, it wasn't even, it was hardly just opened up at that point. And um we did get hit by Hurricane Helene. Luckily, it went like just so, like Nikki said before, most of these, locations don't take a head-on hit. It was not a head-on hit. It came up the coast. And so it just kind of like grazed us as it went up. Only a category one. For those of us that live in South Florida, Cat 1 is a beer party. But it's
I was like, where is it?
yeah.
I don't see any iguanas down. Like,
Yeah.
where's the palm tree down? There's no dead iguanas in the pool.
Yeah.
No hurricane.
But
Mhm.
it's important to know what the property is going to do when a hurricane comes, right? So let's walk you through what happened to us. More we go, so right? So while we were on property, the hurricane is coming in, and we're getting warnings. The property's letting us know, hey, this is coming. We are going to get hit. And so we need to, make sure we plan for it. So what they did is they let us know that morning, hey, it is going to start making landfall tonight. We need everyone in their rooms by a certain time. All of the restaurants are shutting down. This room service is going to be shutting down. You will get food delivered to your room, but it's just going to be like a sandwich and some chips. And like it's going to be basic service so that they can get it up and out and keep the staff safe. You have to remember that these huge properties that are normally operating with, couple thousand employees, couple hundred employees, it's now going to be on bare minimum, just enough people to keep everything running. But they're trying to keep their staff safe too. They have, they have
They have
them
to
to
put
keep
them
them
up
running.
or send them home. If they
Right.
can't put them up, they need to send them home.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It's,
and then they may not be able to get back.
yeah. This staff is hustling to board up the windows, as many as they can, as quickly as they can. They're putting up boards in front of those windows to make sure that what's coming in is not coming into the room.
Yep.
You want to make sure when you're in a hurricane, you do not want to open your patio door. That you do not want to open your actual room door, because the pressure that's involved in that can really be very dangerous when you open those things.
Mhm.
It's just all these things that to take into consideration. But I do have to say that's other than the property was brand new, and maybe we may have seen some leaks or things like that that have now been fixed. But I do have to say that staff handled that hurricane so professionally, and made sure we stayed, in the know on what was going on, and made sure that they kept us safe, even if maybe we wanted to be downstairs having a beer at the bar while the storm was going through. They made sure that we were doing what we needed to do to stay safe, just in case anything got a little wild.
Keep
And
your
they
mini
also
cards stocked.
Yes.
They also kept us entertained though. Like they bought out board games and we were doing trivia. So they were taking the guests' minds off of everything. One big thing to note, during hurricanes, they do close the bar at some point. So you're not going to get all the cocktails at your all inclusive, which, you need to be alert and need to be safe. But I have a little something in my purse.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Our oh shit kits.
Oh shit, kids.
You know,
I seem to remember going around to a couple different bars and collecting cans of beer before
Yeah,
Mhm.
I went upstairs.
Yep.
yeah,
It's
we did.
not saying that they'll always give it to you, but like, just butter up your bartenders and
Yep.
it's
Get over there with your tote bag and your 20.
Yep. But I've been in a couple. So, every property handles it pretty differently, and it probably varies based on the category of the storm. But one I was in, we were completely dry. Like, and it was like, oh wow. So
Well, and that does
I'm
happen with
prepared.
happens with hurricanes. You can be waiting for it to come,
Hmm.
and then like one trash can falls over. That's it. Like,
yeah.
or
Exactly.
or you can be Jamaica or
Hmm.
the Bahamas when it hits. So you don't know. So you have to listen, but also, you know, remember if you're going during hurricane season, you're probably got great rates.
Hmm.
There's a reason your rates were
Yep.
so cheap.
And a lot of
Especially
people
September and
do.
October.
Yeah, a lot of people do because it is great rates and too during the rainier seasons on some islands, everything's more green, everything's more lush. Your waterfall is at full blast. But
Yes.
so these are the pros and cons of
Yeah.
And I think if you're traveling at any period, get travel protection, but
that.
specifically during hurricane season, because a lot of times what happens is once the news announces the storm, everybody wants to buy travel protection. At that point, it's too late. You need your travel protection 2 weeks, what is it, 2 weeks after purchase,
Mhm.
and you need it before the storm is named.
Yep.
So get
And
it early to make sure you're covered.
and some insurance providers list the hurricane as a reason. Some do
Hmm.
not list it as a covered reason, so they can say, "Oh no, sorry." But
Yep.
if
Hmm.
you have the policy that says this is covered, then
Mhm.
you are covered.
Yep.
Maybe you're only covered 75%. That's better than zero.
Right. It is definitely better than zero because I've had instances where clients couldn't even get to destination because of the hurricanes, and the resorts did not care.
Yeah.
So the resorts,
That was not their problem. Their destination wasn't impacted by a storm. So make sure you have coverage for yourself.
Yep.
we have never been successful at getting back refunds because of weather delays.
No.
No matter how
Back to
much we
God.
try, that is where the resort and the tour operators are going to say, "Did you buy the insurance?"
Mhm.
Hmm.
And that's why those policies exist. It's, everyone says in their head, they're like, oh, it's not going to happen to me. I don't need to worry about it. But those policies exist for the oh shit. Oh, it
Mhm.
did happen to me.
Right.
That
Hmm.
and some of these things can get really expensive. If you are in destination and the government says we're shutting down the airport, you are now stuck here for the next week. How are you paying for that hotel room? It's, how and what if you can't stay at that property? That property is sold out and you've got to go to another hotel. That hotel
Well,
doesn't
I
care.
mean,
Yeah.
if you're traveling in February where there's no really prime weather concerns anywhere, but you're coming from somewhere in the United States and a nor'easter goes through, you can't get your flights out or it's delayed 3 days and now you're going to fly for one day. No, this is where you need protection against the weather.
My aunt, my aunt had to show up to my wedding a day late because it's weather in Mexico is beautiful, but there was a what do they call those when it comes down from Canada? The
Tropical
Cyclone,
Arctic
bomb cyclone,
blast or something.
yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway,
bomb cyclone.
apparently I've been living in South Florida long enough now. I can't remember what it's
It
called,
was
but
cold and,
that
and the
was
planes couldn't
real damn,
fly.
yeah, it was real damn cold and no one, the planes couldn't go out. And so she had to wait a day.
Yeah.
And she was just out that money because she didn't have travel insurance.
This is one reason though. We tell guests to get on site a day before, but I really think 2 days before the event start is best.
Mhm.
Just in case you're delayed, you still have time to get there to make all the events and have a nice vacation.
Plus, that
Because
travel day is exhausting. You can be
oh,
more refreshed for that first day.
It is.
I don't know what it is, if it's the pressure in the plane or just the stress of thinking about where you need to be and where you need to go.
It's
But
undressing in TSA. It just depletes you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am exhausted after a travel day, and
Yeah.
I want to go get some dinner, maybe spend a little bit of time at the pool, and then I'm in bed. Um, but it's to each their own. Uh, but yes, so I think hurricane wise, just inclement weather travel wise, those insurance policies are really there to help protect against those things and the unexpected expenses that come up with that.
Mhm.
Let's talk about something that people don't really think about when they think about weather in, Mexico and the Caribbean.
Anywhere?
It's what's that?
Weather anywhere?
Oh, yeah, weather anywhere.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes.
Ugh.
Yeah, if you have got, oh, I've got a story, and I didn't think about that story, but let's talk about that. So that's if you have, mosquitoes in the area, if there's high heat, if there's high humidity, which is everywhere in these areas,
Mhm.
right? If there is a body of water or standing water or anything like that near you, you are going to have a lot of mosquitoes. So going back to your oh shit bag better have some mosquito spray in there.
Mhm.
Now,
You are a person that the mosquitoes like. No matter where you go, you need to take your mosquito shit
yeah,
because you don't want to spend $45 on a little thing at the gift shop
Watered down
and it's
thing.
not what works for you anyway. If mosquitoes like you pack what you need because then you won't need it. Then you won't
Mhm.
need
Yeah.
and you do have to also keep in mind that not all these properties allow like regular mosquito spray. So
Mhm.
make sure you do your research a little bit about, what kind of spray that you need. You might need the DEET free spray because they, for environmental reasons, they don't allow it in the area.
it. If they bite you that bad, just sneak
Yeah. Help
We
that
cannot be liable if Nikki gets you kicked off your
That's
resort
right.
for sneaking in the deep spray. Disclaimer.
My story from mosquitoes. So I didn't think I was going to share this story on here, but now that we're talking about it, I think it's a good idea. So 2023, I'm in Puerto Vallarta. I'm there for a training. And Puerto Vallarta the week before had a hurricane. And so there was a lot of standing water. A lot of the water from, the jungle out over there came into the city. And because of that water came in, there was a lot of standing water that had mosquitoes.
Mm.
Um, One thing that you don't think about that's on these when you're on these trips is these mosquitoes are not normal mosquitoes. So I always call it my chupacabra disease, but it's actually I can't pronounce it. It's chikungunya, something like that.
it.
Chikungunya,
Uh,
or whatever it is.
yeah,
Look at
basic,
me.
yeah, basically
Yeah.
like that.
Jody, pronounce it.
Yeah, basically like dengue fever, but I didn't wear any mosquito spray. I didn't protect myself. And I got bit by one of these mosquitoes and ended up with a very serious disease. And so ended up like paralyzed in my hands, paralyzed in my legs. It's just running a crazy fever. In so much pain. It felt like my hands were broken and my feet were swollen to twice their size, and it was crazy. And I waited till I got back home to get it treated. I ended up having a rare disease specialist come into my doctor's office.
Oh my God, you're just always the best person for these things.
It
Like,
always happens to me.
They
but,
wanted
you
to
know,
see what
okay,
happened to them.
so mosquitoes, yes, but don't let the mosquitoes scare you from traveling to our tropical
No,
destinations,
no.
especially if you're someone who camps in the woods.
Yeah.
Because there's ticks.
But that's the point. It's all it would have taken is me wearing mosquito spray.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
And that's
I
good
would
to
have.
know because I don't get bit often. So I have it, but I never put it on. But I'm gonna start wearing it so I won't be like Mario.
I don't get bitten, but I do always bring it because it's like carrying an umbrella.
Hmm.
I
I
feel
bring
like
it for other people. I don't use it, but I'm gonna use it so I won't be like Mario.
there you go.
That is the moral of today's
You don't
episode.
want to be
Don't be like
chupacabra.
Mario.
I don't
Yeah.
want to have chupacabra.
Chupacabra disease. I'm telling you, it was wild. So anyways, so yes, but as you're looking at the properties that you're considering, there's things to look for. any kind of big standing water, especially natural bodies of water that are out there, that is going to attract mosquitoes.
And that is some resorts, though, that are more eco-friendly. The ones that have the mangroves and the natural stuff around them, you know, it's natural, and natural does natural things. So they make nature all around you, which also has standing water.
Yeah.
Many of our resorts do treat, whether it's a natural treatment, but they are treating against that.
Yeah.
So just so the guests aren't, in the jungle like Mario with Chupacabra. But
Yeah.
most resorts are on top of it.
I do really appreciate a property that sprays, because you can tell.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. The mosquitoes are like in the bed with you when they don't spray.
Right.
My mom's got a bug zapper in her kitchen right now in South Florida because the no-see-ums.
Oh, they drive me crazy.
What is that?
It feels like a mosquito bite, but they're so small they call them no-see-ums. That's you don't even realize.
Oh, no-see-um. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're annoying, and you get a raised bump just like a mosquito bite. They're nasty.
They'll get in your car when you're driving, or yeah.
Hurricanes, no-see-ums. We love South Florida.
Well, but you have to bring your thing.
You have to be prepared.
That's right. So now, speaking of bringing your things, Nikki, you mom at a professional level, can you talk to us about your oh shit kit and things that you travel with that you want to make sure you always have with you?
So, and we were just on the trip. I have to now restock my Band-Aids and my anti-nausea motion medicine. Always bring that, because that's not just for a boat.
Yeah.
I took them all. I'm sorry, Nikki. I took them like every day.
Oh, no. Well, I think there was a lot of people on our last trip that were feeling. So those I will always have. This is my little thing, and I still take this around. This has my essential oil in here for when if you get that seaweed low tide smell, I can just be dabbing it on. We put it on the coasters at the bar, so we got aromatherapy. Your portable fans. Everyone, bring your portable fan. If you are somebody thinking of your oh shit kit for your wedding, you're going to want everything in there. The eyelash glue, the safety pins, a little sewing kit, tampons.
Baby wipes.
Not everybody has tampons anymore. So, but your bridesmaids might need them. What else? Nail glue.
I think one thing that's really good that you bring, Nikki, that I think most people won't think of, you are in Mexico and the Caribbean. There's so much humidity around you. You bring your damp rig with you.
Oh, yeah.
Shout wipes. Remember on the trip we went to Atelier, like the red wine on his shirt, I used like 4,000 shout wipes, but I know Prissy has certain things she brings too.
Instead of the why I used all of your nausea medicine, I use a nausea oil, and it was on my desk, so it didn't do me any good. But I get motion sickness very bad everywhere because I'm old now. So I use the oil. I always have medicine just because I feel like germs look for me. So anything that helps boost my immune system, oregano oil, the emergency packs, my 1,000 milligrams ibuprofen, like I need drugs.
Oh, I will have in my
you
want to travel with me? I've got 2 kinds of antibiotics.
Yes.
I've got eye drops if you need them.
Because being sick somewhere else is a totally different thing. Like you have to get home. So, making sure you have your lady stuff, for that time of the month if it comes when it's not supposed to come. So, yep. And then I also have liquor.
Eye moss and earplugs too, because you may not be able to sleep normally in your hotel room. If
I don't have that problem, I can sleep standing.
Some people,
like I can sleep.
I know you. That's your superpower. That
is my superpower. I told you I slept through a house fire. Like so, don't sleep that hard. But yeah,
some things. The extension cord, the multi-plug.
Oh, the carbon monoxide detector too. That is really good to get, and just to make sure your room is safe.
Oh, and
And
always
then the
to
door locks. Like,
the door lock. Yeah.
we need to do a whole episode on the shit we travel with,
Right.
because
I want to do that, and we should bring them and we should show them, and then we can tell people why we use this, like the things that go over your bottles.
Yep.
Yeah.
The bottle condoms.
Yeah.
We will, you know what? We will do our what's in your bag episode, because I think that is so important. And just some of the fun things that people don't, well, I shouldn't say fun things, but some of the things that people don't think about that, like, oh, I really should have that with me just in case. It's when you're talking about medications, I would rather have my, American name brand medication that I know, instead of guessing the medication that I get overseas, whether I'm in, Mexico, DR, Italy. I had, when I was in Italy in April, I had to pick up some medication. I was like, I just don't know what this is.
Well,
Not that it.
Sometimes you may not have the time to go and look for it.
Or
I'm talking about Imodium.
Yeah.
Imodium and Pepto. When you need it then. You don't have time to go walking through the hotel lobby.
Yep.
Ask me how I know. Anyways, ladies, thank you so much for all of your input on this. I think we got a lot of great points out there today. It's when weather doesn't cooperate, you need to be prepared for it. You need to know what's going to happen, and be able to plan on what your game plan is going to be from there. The moral of the story, today is make sure you listen to the officials, make sure you listen to your wedding coordinator, make sure you listen to the local governments at the time, and don't be like Mario. You guys, you guys, thank you so much, and we will talk to you on the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us. Want to learn more or ready to schedule your complimentary consultation? Follow us on Instagram at Destination Weddings Expert, or visit our website at destinationweddingsexpert.com.